By your stripes we are healed, God. When we encounter every storm, Lord, there's nothing that we walk through without you, Jesus. You've never left us. You've never forsaken us. Thank you so much for your word, and that we can trust you and take you at your word, Jesus. There is a promise that points beyond my failure. There is a still voice to silence all my fears. Even the worst of my mistakes are miracles in the making, are miracles in the making. By your stripes I am healed. With one touch I am made whole. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In the storm, you are peace, and your love, it won't let me go. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In every season, your purpose is unchanging. In every moment, you're working for my good. Oh, Jesus, the rock that never fails, your kingdom will not be shaken. Your kingdom will not be shaken. By your stripes I am healed. With one touch I am made whole. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In the storm, you are peace, and your love, it won't let me go. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. Oh, yes, I know. Yes, I know. Sing your word, it is settled. Oh, your word is settled in heaven, it will be done. Father, let it be done. Yours is the kingdom forever, your will be done. Oh, let it be done. Your word is settled in heaven, your will be done. Father, let it be done. Yours is the kingdom forever, your will be done. Oh, let it be done. Your word is settled in heaven, it will be done. Father, let it be done. And yours is the kingdom forever, your will be done. Oh, let it be done, Jesus. Oh, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. By your stripes I am healed. With one touch I am made whole. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. In the storm, you are peace, and your love, it won't let me go. You have spoken, and I know that it is so. You have spoken, and I know that it is so.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, this is Pastor Russell. I'm so glad that you made it tonight to celebrate this time of Good Friday. And if you don't have your elements for communion tonight, you can pause this video and go get it right now and then come on back, okay? But hey, today is Good Friday. And I want to talk about why we celebrate this day and what this day really is significant about. It's the day that Jesus went to the cross to pay for the sins of the world. You may ask yourself, how could this be good? Well, to understand, we first have to understand that on this day, prophecy was fulfilled. But most importantly, what was fulfilled is the requirements of God's law. See, Jesus said in Matthew 5:17, "Do not think I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I've not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." Jesus fulfilled over 300 prophecies in the Old Testament. And I want to take a look at 5 prophecies tonight that show us how Jesus, the Messiah, fulfilled those prophecies. The first one is in Isaiah 53, verse 7. It says, "He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, as a sheep before the shears is silent, so he did not open his mouth." This prophecy was fulfilled in Mark chapter 15, verses 4 through 5, where it said, "And again Pilate said to him, 'Are you not going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?' But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed." The book of Isaiah was written 700 years before Jesus was even born. But that's not it. The second prophecy in the same chapter, Isaiah 53:3, says, "He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one whom people hide their faces, he was despised and he was held in low esteem." Something I want you to understand. Jesus understands. He is familiar with suffering and pain. And he also knows what it feels like to be rejected. But that fulfillment of that prophecy is in John 1:11, where it says, "He came down to his own, and his own did not receive him." This is amazing how Jesus fulfills prophecy to the very scripture. The third prophecy I'd like to touch on this evening is Psalms 22:17. And it says, "All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them, and they cast lots for my garment." This was fulfilled in Matthew 27:35, where it says, "And they crucified him, and they divided his clothes, and they cast lots." You know, lots was a form of gambling, which we would probably call today slots. They were gambling for Jesus' clothes, his garments. The fourth prophecy that Jesus fulfilled on that day is found in Numbers 9, verse 12, where it says, "They must not leave any of it till the morning or break any of its bones when they celebrate the Passover. They must follow all regulations." See, this was an act of Passover worship, that the lamb could not be left out during the evening and had to be dealt with properly, and not one bone of this sacrificial lamb could be broken. This comes from Deuteronomy 21:23, where it says, "You must not leave any of the body hanging on a pole overnight. Be sure to bury it the same day, because anyone who is hung on a pole is under a curse of God. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God has given you as an inheritance." This is why they had to bury Jesus the same day that he passed away. But how it was fulfilled is in John 19, verse 31 through 37. And it says, And now it was on the day of preparation, and the next day was to be the special Sabbath, because the Jewish leaders did not want the bodies left on the cross during the Sabbath. They asked Pilate to have the legs broken of the bodies taken down. And the soldiers therefore came and broke the legs of the first man who had been crucified with Jesus, and then those of the other. But when they came to Jesus, they found that he was already dead. But they did not break his legs. Instead, one of the soldiers pierced Jesus' side with a spear, bringing a sudden flow of blood and water. I want to point something out in that scripture. Not only is that a fulfillment, but I want you to understand something. We always think that it was the cross that took Jesus' life. But you know, I watched this documentary one time, and it was talking about when Jesus was on the cross, there was so much pain that his body was enduring, that his body was releasing what we call adrenaline as a painkiller. And it was in such high levels that it actually backflushed into his heart. And what it did is it broke his heart. Jesus died of a broken heart. That's what killed Jesus. But why did he do that? Well, the final prophecy is in Psalm 69:12, where it says, "They put gall in my food, and they gave me vinegar for my thirst." This describes the agony, like I said, he was in. He was trying to endure the cross, and he couldn't find any comfort. So they tried to give him this vinegar wine to dull the pain. The fulfillment of this prophecy in Psalm 69 is in John chapter 19, verses 28 through 30. Saying later, knowing that everything had been finished, and so the scripture would be fulfilled, Jesus said, "I am thirsty," and a jar of wine vinegar was there. They soaked a sponge on it and put the sponge on a stalk of hyssop plant, and they lifted it to Jesus' lips. And when he had received the drink, Jesus said these three words, "It is finished." And with that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Those three words are our victory chant. It is finished. What Jesus did on the cross is what gives us the ability to have eternal life. But you know what's more astonishing than the fact that Jesus went to the cross and that Jesus fulfilled prophecy? It's what gave him the ability to endure that cross. And that's in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 2 through 3. Which says, "Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith, for the joy that was set before him, enduring the cross, scorning its shame, and he sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you and me would not grow weary and lose heart." You know what makes Good Friday? Good Friday is that Jesus accomplished the work that needed to be done to give us eternal life. See, this is where mercy and justice met on that day on the cross of Calvary. And so as we remember Christ on this Good Friday, we do so through the act of communion. And this is for everything that Jesus did for us so that we could be with him for all eternity. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that if we determine the value of something by the price that we're willing to pay, Jesus going to the cross exemplifies that we're priceless, that there's no price God wouldn't pay to redeem us back to him. And so at this time, we're going to take communion. And it says that the Lord, on the night that he was betrayed, he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it. He said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And then the same way, after supper, he took the cup, saying, "This is the cup of the new covenant in my blood. Do this whenever you drink it in remembrance of me. For whenever you eat the bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes." I want to thank you for spending your Friday evening with us on this Good Friday. I hope that you're encouraged that Jesus is the one who redeemed us not only from the grave, but from sin and hell. And that is what Good Friday is all about. So thank you for tuning in this evening. And at this time, we're going to worship.
The Savior say, thy strength indeed is small. Child of weakness, watch and pray. Find in me thine all in all. Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin and left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin and left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. Sin and left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. He washed it white as snow. He washed it white as snow. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised us life up from the dead. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised us life up from the dead. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised us life up from the dead. Oh, praise the one who paid my debt and raised us life up from the dead. From the dead. Oh. Jesus paid it all to him I owe. Sin and left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. Sin and left a crimson stain, he washed it white as snow. He washed it white as snow. He washed it white as snow.
Hey, church family, we're so glad that you joined us for this special online Good Friday service. Easter Sunday is on the way. We have services at 9 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and 12 p.m. You can join us in person, and you can also tune in right here as well. Head to valleyvegas.org. You can also watch along with us on our app, or you can go to our Facebook page. So we hope to see you online or in person this Sunday. See you then.